Believe we're live. Good morning, everyone. Those of you who are on now and those of you who will join later, I apologize for my tardiness. It's 8:34 a.m. I punctured my finger the other day and had a genius idea to pick at it last night. And since then, I haven't been able to get it to stop bleeding. So, small, minor thing that I can't get to stop bleeding. So I had to have my wife help me this morning, and of course, that made me be tardy. But isn't it crazy how the smallest little things can cause the biggest issues at times, just like in retirement planning? So, with that, as always, welcome to those who come. I appreciate it. I love our country, but I believe our government is terrible at managing money and should not control our financial future. And I also love to help people. I love to help people have more confidence in their financial future, and it's my mission to provide my clients the highest quality advice and service possible when it comes to their financial planning on their financial journey. And to do that, I've committed to only having 100 active clients that I have fiduciary responsibility to at any given time, to make sure that I can be available to them and their families to provide the highest quality service and advice possible. I don't believe it's reasonable to expect to have a true, family-oriented relationship with 600 plus people. So, in order, from a time standpoint, from a relationship standpoint, from a quality standpoint, that's where we focus on 100 active clients or less. Because of that, we have certain minimums in place in order to work with us. But I got in this business to help as many good people as I possibly could, and that's where these weekly Money Not Math coffee talks come into play, because this is my opportunity to provide free value and answer questions for free to you, whether you're my client or not. So please do, when you think of something, pop a question in the comments or reach out to me, and I'd be happy to answer them. I'd much rather answer your live questions than just talk at the camera. That's what my Money Not Math videos are for me to have more scripted and edited conversations. This is more impromptu conversations. And with that, there are mistakes that are made. I know last week someone brought it to my attention that I mentioned that RMDs have always been at age 72. That in fact is not true. I misspoke on that one. RMDs historically were more at the age 70 and a half. And they got moved to 72, and now they're kind of flexed between 73 and 75, depending on your date of birth. So, as always, these conversations are live. Therefore, I do not guarantee everything I say is perfectly accurate. I do my best to provide value and answer to the best of my ability. And with that, here's another disclaimer. This content is not legal, tax, or investment advice. You should always consult a qualified professional regarding your personal situation. So, with that, now that we have things up and running, again, I apologize for being late. I am going to try to quick share the information for this meeting to my different pages, in case there's anyone that forgot that it's going on right now that would like to jump on and join us. I'd like to remind them that it's happening right now. So bear with me if you are on right now. I am not trying to ignore you. I'm just trying to make sure I'm giving everyone else the opportunity to jump on if they would like to jump on but had forgotten about it. So, with that, all right. All right, so just got that quick share out there. Let's see. Oh yeah, I can't leave my page. Okay, so I haven't gotten a question yet, so I'm going to pull up the newsletter that my business partner sent out yesterday. His name is Ross Welty. For anyone who knows, for those of you who knows us, I've been actually working with Ross my entire career. This May will be my 10th year in the financial services industry. And back in May 2014, I was an intern at Foster Klima, and Ross was my mentor. And since that time, we have always worked together in different capacities, from a mentor-mentee relationship to a friendship to a business partner relationship that we have now. And one of the new exciting things we are doing for our clients and for people who aren't our clients is providing a free content and free financial planning of value that we think is so important, because I know we both agree that living a life of abundance doesn't mean learning something and then keeping it to yourself. It is learning something and then sharing it with others in hopes that you can pay it forward and make an impact, whether they pay you as a client or not. The more we give out into the world, the more the world's going to give back to us. So we're trying to give out as much free, valuable information as we can, so that hopefully we can make a positive impact on other people's lives. And when it comes to those more specific planning and strategizing for our clients, of course, then that becomes more in detail. But so here's the newsletter that we sent. I will put the link in the chat in case anyone wants to check it out. This is all new, so please do, if you have feedback, questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, or rude remarks, please do let us know, because our goal is to provide as much value as possible. So any improvements or recommendations are helpful. And the title of the newsletter is How Small Consistent Actions Can Pay Off Big in Finances and Life. I think we can all agree with that. I just put it in the chat, so whether you're watching this live or on a recording later on, you can check that out if you'd like to. So until I receive a question from anyone, I'm just going to read through this quick because I think it's really valuable, and I'll keep periodically checking in on the side to see if any questions come in. So when was the last time you gave up on a goal? When was the last time you accomplished one? You're beating the odds here if you're achieving more goals than you're giving up on. That's because most of us give up on our goals at some point, and a lot of us give up after just a few weeks of trying. Why? Sometimes you're just not ready for a change, so we lack motivation. Other times, we're biting off more than we can chew, and we don't set ourselves up to succeed. Failing with our goals only happens when we stop working on them. So, if you haven't achieved some goal yet, changing your approach and embracing the power of small daily actions could be the solution you're looking for. That's the focus of this month's Visual Insights newsletter. And if you did get the email and you're already on our email list, you have to click on the link to see the full extent of the content. The email itself is just a highlight of the content, and then once you click on that link, you'll get brought to another page. So the title of this article is, like I said, How Small Consistent Actions Can Pay Off Big in Finances and Life. Before I move on, any questions come in? I'm seeing none. All right, what was your last major accomplishment? Did you achieve it overnight? Probably not if you're talking about life-changing goals, like dropping bad habits or picking up good ones. And if you're like most folks, you're probably setting these types of big goals more than you achieve them. In fact, many of us set new goals every year. When we do, we tend to be pretty optimistic, setting a high bar and long-shot goals. With that, we also tend to set ourselves up for failure. That's because most of us have a plan for working towards our goals. Instead, that's because most of us don't have a plan for working towards our goals. Instead, we embrace that go big or go home mindset that can leave us falling short. It can also set us back and put our motivation into a tailspin. We can turn all that around, though, and actually accomplish more by focusing on less. That means that less occasional heavy lifting and more simple day-to-day steps that can help us make real progress. That small shift in our approach can be a powerful way to accomplish more in many aspects of life. Let's see how it can work for us in finance by walking through some small, consistent steps any of us can take day-to-day to achieve extraordinary results in the big picture. 6 tiny steps to achieve greater results in your financial life. Number 1, tiptoe to start. Think about your goals and what you can do every day to get there. Then break that task down to an absurdly small level. That's where you can start. Stay at that level for weeks, a month, or more. Whatever it takes for you to get bored with it. After that, take it up a notch very slowly, raising the bar by no more than 10% at a time. The point is to make the task so minor that it seems like it's not worth doing. That keeps the stakes low and makes the task a no-brainer day to day. Saving and retirement example. Put $1 in your savings or retirement account every day. If you start saving $1 per day in a month, raising that by 10 cents a month for 1 year, you could save roughly $435 by the end of the year. Apologize for my phone. So that's obviously a pretty small number, but it's better than nothing. You could scale that, start at $10 a day, and that would be $4,350 a year. You could, scale that to $100 a day, and that would be $43,000 a year. So the point is, start small, make a step every time you are able to accomplish that, and then just keep bumping it up a little by a little by a little. The problem for most people, including myself, is I'll have some grandiose idea that I'm going to do something. I'll use a health goal as an example. I'm going to exercise every day for the next 100 days. And that's such a long period of time that if I mess up one time, then I feel like I failed the 100-day challenge. Where if you just set a small goal to exercise one day and then add another day and just make it small, it's a lot easier to feel good about the progress you're making. And you don't actually have to be perfect in order to make progress. So a spending example, reverse the above example. Spending $1 less every day to start. Again, if you scale that up to just 10 cents per month, you could end up saving $435 by the year's end. The tiptoeing here isn't about just the money you save, it's also about the small habit you're creating. I think this one is so important. So often people go to lunch for every day, grab a Starbucks coffee every morning, or go to the bars every evening, and can't figure out why they don't have any money available to save for retirement. Well, if you spend about $25 a day on random unnecessary wants, whether it's Amazon shopping or the examples I already gave, that's about $9,000 a year. Imagine what you could do with $9,000 a year. Now, if you need that $25 a day, that's one thing. But if you're just spending that $25 a day just for the fun of it, that's a pretty big impact on the potential big longer term goals that you have. All right, so seeing no questions come in, the number 2 of these 6 tiny steps to achieve greater results in your financial life, automate wherever possible. You could use technology and apps to automate your daily small actions. That could mean setting up automatic transfers so you're not manually transferring funds day to day. It could also mean using spending trackers, saving tools, and retirement planners to simplify money management. Again, the point is to make those small day-to-day tasks as simple as possible. Number 3, piggyback. Pair your new small daily tasks with anything that's already part of your routine. That connection can make it easier to fold new tasks into your daily rituals so you don't forget them, and so they become second nature faster. Example, schedule your small daily money habits around your morning, lunchtime, or evening routines. If you're waiting for coffee to brew in the morning, for example, use that as your time to check your savings, spending, and retirement apps. You could also fold a little learning into your nighttime routines, taking 5 minutes or so before bedtime to catch up on finance news or watch a short video on finance. Number 4, talk about it. Don't be afraid to talk about money with the folks you trust. Whether it's your spouse, your kids, or your friends, talking about finance can open your eyes to new ways of thinking and doing things. It can also help you stay accountable with your financial goals. Here are some questions that can start productive conversations about money. What was the best financial decision you've made today? What's the best money lesson you've learned so far? Were your parents good or bad with money? Whether you ask questions or talk specifics on costs, budgets, or finance in your life, talking about it is what's important. It can clear the air of any shame around these conversations and open up opportunities to learn more, share more, and stay on the same page with folks you care about. This one is amazing to me how important communicating your own money is. It is really terrifying, but also sad to me how many people won't address their financial issues because they're terrified to talk about them. It's easier to ignore something being wrong than it is to address it head on, even though ignoring it only makes it worse, right? So that small feeling of uncomfortability by having that conversation with a financial professional, with a loved one, with whoever it might be, is extremely important in taking and making progress towards making those, that improvement in reaching those goals. And I know for me, and I can speak definitely for my business partner, there's no judgment, right? We meet with people all the time and understand people come from very different backgrounds. All we're looking for, are you a good, genuine human being that's trying to make progress? And whether it makes sense for us to be your advisor or someone else, we're more than happy to give you some of our time to try to lead you in the right direction. So I think I don't remember the quote exactly, but just remember that no one's like if anyone overly judges you for where you're currently at rather than where you're trying to go, you probably don't want to be having that conversation to go with that person. But hey, at least you found out the hard way. So, number 5, boost your IQ. Set aside 3 to 5 minutes a day to do something that teaches you a little more about finance. You could read or watch the financial news. You can also listen to podcasts, watch videos, or read a couple of paragraphs out of a book on finance. You could even subscribe to YouTube channels that routinely put out bite-sized shorts on money. The point is to engage with a topic every day, so you're adding one more brick to your house of financial knowledge. This one I'll add the caveat, be aware of where you're getting the information. There are a lot of people out there selling a lot of financial junk information with zero license to do so. So it's basically like a gossip blog. I'm not saying it's all bad. There's a lot of really great information out there by people who aren't licensed, but just be very aware of where you're getting your information and if the person giving it has any credentials to be doing so, because some of the information out there is very interesting. It doesn't necessarily apply to all situations. Number 6, check in regularly. Check in daily with yourself and schedule regular check-ins with the folks you trust. That could mean going over the money with your spouse every month or even checking in quarterly with a financial professional. These check-ins can add another level of accountability, education, and motivation, and that can be the key to staying on track long term, especially when the going gets tough and it's hard to see the forest for the trees. All right, any questions come in from those who are on here? Not seeing any yet, so I'll just keep finishing this up. And again, if there's no questions that come in by 9, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm happy to give an hour of my time if there's people on here that are asking questions. However, if it's just me providing information that I think might be valuable, I'll cut it off at 9 a.m. Central Time. So, continuing on, it's those small, consistent actions we take over time that have the power to really move the needle. Financial lesson: how little steps can go a long way toward big change and real success. Which small steps will you try out first? Which ones are you already in the habit of? However you answer those questions, the truth is big goals are terrific and big accomplishments don't usually happen after one major move or some flip of the switch. Instead, it's those small, consistent actions we take over time that have the power to really move the needle. Why? Because with small steps, we have bite-sized, approachable pieces that can be easier to take on and digest day to day. That can keep us motivated, give us small wins to celebrate, and make our goals seem more attainable. With that, we can build up some momentum, and those small daily actions can start to become easier and easier. Over time, they may even become second nature, giving you new habits to build on. That can be the foundation for achieving bigger goals and doing truly remarkable things with your finances and your life. Of course, none of this can happen if you don't get started. Sometimes all it takes is a fresh perspective from someone you trust to take the first step. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed that newsletter, whether you're watching live or you watch at a later date. I appreciate you taking the time. Again, I'm happy to answer questions. In fact, I would prefer to answer questions. That's what we're here for. So if you have any, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section. Let me know. They could be helpful. It could be valuable for both you or someone who watches this in the future. We've got about 8 more minutes before I wrap it up, unless I get more questions. Just going to see if there's anything else. All right. Here's an article I might read if it's short enough, called "Uncertainty is Overrated." But I might keep it just to one piece of content for today, in case anyone does join. All right, this is pretty short. I'll read it. This should fill up the last 7 minutes of time we've got here, unless we start getting questions. And again, if you have them, just leave them in the comment. If you don't want to ask them now but like to ask them more privately, you can reach out to me directly via text, email. Keep in mind I can't give financial advice via text, but you can reach out to me and I'll call you. or Facebook message. So this article is titled "Uncertainty is Underrated" by David Booth, founder and chairman of Dimensional. And I think that usually that's a misnomer because usually people don't like uncertainty, but he's saying it's underrated, like it's a good thing. So let's see what he has to say. A wave of new scientific discoveries reveals that learning to lean. Oh, that's a great question. The question is, do you have a specific topic you think you might be covering next week? Just trying to give some of the viewers a chance to maybe have some questions lined up. No, my goal with this weekly Money Not Math Coffee Talks is it's an open forum to answer your questions. The topics I discuss are only just to fill white space. So ideally, I'd love to spend a whole hour just answering your questions so you can bring any questions you want to that conversation. And if you don't have anything, or if I don't see any questions being sent in, that's where I'll just fill the space with relatively recent information I find to be valuable. So if I have that I'm open to changing the format if people would rather I feed you questions to ask me. But with the over 150 Money Not Math videos I like to do where I'm prepared with a specific topic, my intention with these coffee talks is to have more of an open forum. So I appreciate the question. Hopefully that's okay with you. At the end of the day, my goal is to provide value. So if more people are requesting that I do it that way, I can try to pivot in the future. But for now, I prefer to keep it as more of an open forum. So I guess, short answer, it would be prepare whatever questions you want. Anything under the sun of financial planning and financial services, I'm happy to attempt to answer. And if I don't know the answer, I will look it up and provide the answer in a follow-up week or a follow-up email, or I will reach out and we'll connect with someone that is able to answer the question. So thanks for asking that. Hopefully that was a reasonable answer. Any follow-up questions to that or thoughts? Perfect. So 4 minutes. Like I said, I'm happy to stay till 9:30 a.m. Central Time if there are follow-up questions. Otherwise, to fill the last few minutes here, I'm going to read through this article called "Uncertainty is Underrated" by David Booth, founder and chairman of Dimensional. He says, for many people, uncertainty is something to avoid or at least mitigate. But what about the positive things that uncertainty can bring? Without it, there would be no surprises, no joy in watching sports, and no 10% average annualized return on the stock market over the past century. Let me explain that last one. If there was no uncertainty, returns would be predictable, and there would be no difference between putting your money in a savings account or investing it in the stock market. We've all lived through the years like 2022 when the market went down a lot, and years like 2023 when it went up a lot. The potential risks make possible the potential reward, so thank goodness for uncertainty. People often talk more about the downside to uncertainty than its upside. There's even a term, loss aversion, that reflects how a loss can feel more painful than a gain of equal amount. Maybe that's why uncertainty is underrated. Because of uncertainty, life is one cost-benefit analysis after another, and we have no choice but to manage risk. At the extremes, some people may try to completely ignore risk, while others might try to eliminate it. Then there's everyone else. We can't control the weather, but we can take an umbrella if it looks like it might rain. We weigh the cost of carrying around an umbrella against the benefit of staying dry if it rains. We manage risk with our health, work, family, and just about every other part of our life, including investing. Because while few things are certain, we still have to make decisions big and small. The better we manage risk, the better our lives will be. Going back to the weather example, we want to carry an umbrella only when we might need one. When it comes to investing, you can't manage stock market returns, but you can manage the risk you take. So how can investors get better at managing risk? Don't get caught up trying to predict the unpredictable. What to avoid? One way of managing risk is to eliminate some of the things you should not do. No matter your personal view on health habits, there are certain things that research has shown are true for most people. Fried foods, cigarettes, and sugar don't promote health. Avoiding these increases your chance of healthy outcome. There are choices you can make to improve your chance of good investing outcome too. Don't get caught up trying to predict the unpredictable. That means not trying to time the market or pick winning stocks. What to do? Then there are the positive ways of dealing with risk. Capturing the benefits of what scientific research has shown with health, What that means, instead of consuming fried foods, cigarettes, and sugar, we should exercise more, eat more vegetables, and get regular checkups. Diversification allows us to reduce our risk while capturing the returns of the market. Dimensional started in 1981 with the goal of turning academic research into financial solutions, which we believe is a better way to invest. With investing, we've learned that risk is more predictable than returns. So you want to plan and find the amount of risk that is right for you. Each person may be different. Regardless of what level of risk feels right, you should invest and be prepared for a range of outcomes. The more you have a philosophy you can count on and return it to in times when you are experiencing the ups and the downs of uncertainty, the more likely you are to succeed as a long-term investor. You can do it. You know more than you think you do about investing. Investing is all about risk and reward, and so is every other part of your life. You've been managing risk and reward for as many years as you've been living. With investing in life, some years are better than others, but the important thing is to be able to stick around to see what happens next. That's why I see uncertainty as a positive force and have faith in the ability of people to find better ways to manage risk. I've worked with thousands of investors during my 5 decades in finance and see how, when they manage risk better, they live a better life. Instead of trying to predict your future, plan, adapt, and figure out the most sensible solutions for you. With uncertainty, you make the best informed choices you can. With uncertainty, you make the best uninformed choices you can, monitor the results, and make changes as necessary. Accepting outcomes doesn't mean you don't try to shape them where you can, or to take advantage of opportunities when they present them to you. You do your homework and you learn to make trade-offs between possible risk and reward. The key is to develop a philosophy, define your goals, and steer toward them. Adjusting along the way, you might not only be underestimating uncertainty, but you may be underestimating the positive impact of embracing it. So that's the end of the article. It's important to understand a few things about that. First, the reason why I like to read in Dimensional articles is that Dimensional is one of the companies we utilize to build our custom portfolios for our clients, because their philosophy aligns very closely with ours. Second, I think it's a lot of what they cover there is really important. Far too often we get convinced that we should be scared of the market and scared of uncertainty, when in reality, if we plan appropriately for uncertainty and appropriately for market volatility, it's actually a good thing, and can be we can insulate ourselves around that risk as long as we're segmenting our money for when we want to use it and how we want it to grow, rather than just reacting to the news. All right, so with that, if we have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If anyone wants to throw one into the chat, I'll do my best to answer it. Give a couple more moments for that. Otherwise, if I don't hear any questions, or see any questions, I'm going to, I'll log off and hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day. I'm putting in the chat the link. Here is the link to uncertainty is underrated. That was what I just read. If you're unable to access it and would like a copy, just reach out. I can send you a PDF of it. Oh, and I'm happy always to discuss it as well. All right, about a minute and a half. If I get any more questions, great. If I don't, that's all right too. We can all go on and enjoy the rest of our days. Oh, slight. For those who didn't see already, my wife and I are expecting our second daughter come this August, so we're very excited about that as well. Just pray every day for health and happiness. But we're very excited, and thought I would throw that out there for the last 30 seconds. See if anyone has. I'm not seeing any questions, so I'm gonna wrap it up. I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for your time. Whether it's live or after the fact, please reach out with any questions, comments, or concerns or requests for future conversations or topics. As the question on here said, if you ever have a request for a topic, I will either answer it live, or I can even answer it privately, or I can answer it via a pre-scripted, kind of planned out Money Not Math video. So thanks again for all your time. Hope you have a great day. Happy Wednesday. And I'll look forward to talking to you again next week. Bye.